You're sitting at home, alone, and you're constantly checking your phone. It's because your friends have left you out of a plan. The feeling that comes with this experience, it's one that everybody knows. It's a feeling of loneliness. It's universal, whether it's moving to a city or being the new kid in class or both. Everybody has felt lonely. But unfortunately, loneliness is on the rise. In 2021, the World Health Organization reported that in some countries, as many as 1 out of every 3 people feel utterly lonely. Today, I'm here to talk to you about loneliness and why accepting it is the first step to recovery. So, what is loneliness? Well, that's actually a harder question to answer than you think. You only know what loneliness means to yourself. Despite being such a universal emotion to us, it is one that is so subjective and individualistic. It's impossible to apply your definition of loneliness to anybody else, but to quote researcher Colleen Killing, if the word loneliness is brought up in a conversation, everybody knows what it means to themselves and how distressing of an ordeal it can be. You may have just as many friends as the person sitting next to you, but one of you feels utterly more lonely. This is because what we do know about loneliness is that as humans, we constantly look at our social relationships and we size them up to the relationships that we desire and their quality. Individualistic loneliness of this kind can be traced back to the Renaissance with the emergence of the concept of individualism. This is actually supported by research from Manuela Barreto, who found that in individualistic societies, people report being lonely way more often. It seems that in the journey for self-fulfillment, we're forced to choose between giving up something in pursuit of something else. We have limited time on this planet and lots of goals and desires to fulfill, and not enough time for all of them. Whether it's getting a degree in law or working 2 jobs to support a university degree, or even just watching your favorite TV show. We have a lot of things we want to do in life, but not enough time to do it all. And sometimes the easiest thing to do is to socially isolate ourselves or miss out on a bit of time with friends. But once we find ourselves at the top of that mountain of goals and desires, we might find ourselves feeling lonely. We've completed all our goals, but we've neglected one innate desire, and that's the desire for meaningful connections. So what? Everybody feels lonely sometimes. It may not seem scary at first, but loneliness can become very scary. Research from Everin Erzin shows that loneliness is linked to mental health disorders such as depression. When you feel lonely for a long time, it can become self-sustaining. Colleen Killing describes it as a spider web that enmeshes you, and the farther you go in, the harder it is to get out. This is because if you believe you are lonely, you may begin to manifest it in your behaviors, like sitting farther away from people in class or socially isolating yourself. So, what do you do if you feel particularly lonely? Well, I can't offer you an answer. Loneliness is subjective. It's its own unique journey for you to take yourself. But what I can say that in order to start tackling loneliness, you have to accept it. This is how you climb out the web. The world has become so individualized and so materialistic that we view loneliness as something negative, like a disease, when really it's just a normal human emotion. We forget to remember loneliness is a universal experience. You are not alone in facing loneliness, and accepting that fact makes you less alone than you feel. Thank you for your time. My name is Sean Deacon.